Some further or more categories for the types of preprocessor directives. Second is file inclusion directive. What is there in file inclusion directive? As its name specifies that you can include any file by using directives. One new thing is there. For example, you are using from a long time hash include, so hash include is there. The difference is you are usually using hash include less than symbol or angular bracket, you can say, then stdio.h, conio.h, whatever the file you are using, then closing angular bracket. And you can also use double quote to include any header file stdio.h, conio.h, etc. What is the difference between these two? Difference is, if you are using angular bracket, then it searches in standard directory only. But if you are using this angular instead of this angular bracket, these double quotes, then it uses current directory and standard directory both. Now if it uses these both directories, still we do not want to use it. Why? Because if it will be used, then it will search for current directory and standard directory both. Then it will become a time consuming process, and time complexity will also get increased for every program in which we are using this. So that's why we avoid it. Now one example is there in which we have included file inclusion is the title. We have included a file named area.h, whereas we have made it area.h, in which we have calculated the area of a circle by using this formula, and we are returning its value in the form of AR. So output will be there by using this area.h file, and you can include this area.h file in your bin directory or in your current directory, so that you can get the exact output by using the radius. By giving the radius as 7, the area is calculated as 153.9579993. Third type of preprocessor directive is compiler control directive, in which mainly it comes with some conditions. So it is also known as the conditional operators. Hash if def, hash else, hash elif, hash ifndef, etc. are there, which are detailed one by one. There you can see two examples. The difference between these two examples is only here. In one, that is in left hand side, hash if is used, whereas in right hand side, hash if def is used. In both of these programs, we are going to define some identifier line by value 0, means we are sort of assigning the value as 0. What will be the difference by using if and if def in these cases? In first case, it will not get executed and it will go to the else part, that it will print line 2. Why? Because it is checking if line. If line means if something exists. Yes, it exists, but the value is 0. If it will check, then it will be hash if 0. And if something is 0, then it will not get executed. As we know, it is the rule in programming. If something is 0, then it will not get executed. It will go to the else part. So that's why it will be executing line 2. What if we are using, instead of hash if, we are using hash if def? If we are using hash if def, as the name specifies, it will check for if defined. If def stands for if defined. Yes, line is defined. Now here it doesn't matter whatever the value of line is. So it is 0, doesn't matter. It is 1, doesn't matter. So that's why it is true in this case. That's why the output will be line 1 in this case. So left hand side, where we are using hash if line, the output will be line 2, that is, it will be going to the else part. Whereas in the right hand side, we can see that we are using hash if def. It will not go to the else part, as because definition of line exists. That's why it will output as line 1. Now one more thing, wherever you are using if, else, elif, etc., you must have to use and if. Whereas in the C programming, till now we have not used and if. Wherever we are using if, we are not using that, but now we have to use it because we are using hash if, hash else, hash elif, then we have to use hash and if. Second type of conditional operator is elif, in which a code is given. Here you can see that some marks by the keyword mks is defined as 65, and in the program the grades are calculated. If mks is greater than equal to 78, then A grade. If it is greater than 50, then B. Then if it is greater than 25, then C, and then else part having D. So we have used here else if, and else if in this is designated by hash elif, which means else if. So if we have defined the value as 65, then it will come into the category of grade B, because 65 is greater than equal to 50 but less than 78. So output is grade B. Here is the use of elif, and in this case also you have to use and if. Next case is of if and def. If and def, again, the name itself specifies if not defined. Here again, you can see two examples are shown. The difference between these two examples is only that in one example hash defined m100 is written, whereas in another example that is in right hand side it is not written. Now what is the difference by these two? In left hand side case program we have defined the value of m by 100, whereas in the right hand side we have not defined m. So it will check into the program as hash if and def, means if not defined m. So it is asking that the value of m is defined. Yes, in the left hand side program we have defined. That's why these two lines will not get executed, and it will go to the else part where we have printed already defined. So the output will be already defined. Whereas now take the second case, that is the right hand side, in which we have not defined the value of m by 100. Now if we have not defined, then it will check if and def m, means if not defined m, yes, it's true. If it is true, then these two values, these two statements will get executed, where in the first you are defining the value of m by 200 and writing as newly defined, means you have newly defined the value of m by 200. So ultimately these two programs the difference gets clear, that you have defined the value of m or not. So if and def can be seen by these two examples. Now fourth category or fourth type is some others or miscellaneous directives, like undef. First is undef, as the name specifies, undefined, means whatever is defined already will be undefined by this. In this example, again you can see as shown on your screen that you have defined the value of m by 100. Now you are going to print it. So output will be m is equal to 100. Now undef m is written. That is the syntax. Hash undef, then that identifier that is to be undefined. So m is undefined. Now the value of m is undefined, means m do not have the value 100 now. Further, in the next line, it is again defined by the new value 200. Now, if you will print it, it will get printed as 200. So the next output will be m is equal to 200. We will also see this example by running it into GDB compiler and see the difference carefully, that how it works. The value of m you can see over here is printed as 100 and 200 both. What if you will not be defining, you will not be undefining m? So we will going to comment it. So the value of m is not getting undefined. If it is not getting undefined, then it will give you some error, but the value of m is changed by defining over here. What if you will not define the value again by 200, and then if you will try to run it, then both the times it will give the value 100. m is equal to 100, m is equal to 100, because neither it is undefined nor it is newly defined. So that's why if it will be undefined, in first of the case it will be defined as 100, as in header files you can see. Then undefined m means the value of 100 is undefined. Now if you want to print its value, then it will show you the error because no value of m is defined. So the solution is to define the value again by any value. Say here we have defined it by 200. So the output will